Hi, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to a Yarn and Yarns extra video. How are you today? I hope you are doing well. I thought I would just hop on for a little while and chat to you about a new cast on that seemed to find its way onto my needles. Don't know how that happened, but yesterday afternoon I cast on. So yeah, I thought it was an excuse to come and chat to you. But before I get on to that good stuff, I hope you might indulge me for a little bit of waffly chat first. So I thought I might tell you about my morning. Even before I do that, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has already commented on yesterday's video, the gratitude giveaway. I asked everyone to let me know about something good that had happened to them in their day, and there are so many amazing comments on that video, so I shall certainly be checking back over the next few weeks. Anytime I'm feeling like things are a little bit too much, I will definitely go back and read the comments in that thread. I shall keep that giveaway open until Friday, so if you haven't yet had a chance to watch that video or comment, then please hop back and do so. So yeah, it's been a really weird weather day here in South Wales. I woke up this morning and the rain was pelting and it's really blustery. It's still really blustery, but I love it when it rains, and I love being up here in my attic craft room because the sound of the rain on the roof is just, it's so loud, but it's also really comforting. And I've kind of hoped that I might be able to spend the afternoon camped out up here listening to the rain, but the sun seems to have come out now. Anyway, I braved the rain this morning and went into the shop to do a little bit of work. And one of the things that I had on my to-do list today was to do a doorstop delivery to one of my local regular customers. And it just really amused me because it felt like some really sort of clandestine transaction. She sent me a message and she's like, "Oh, can you drop this off to me? This is my address and I've left some money for you under the doormat." So off I snuck to her place with my package of woolly goodness and furtively looked under the doormat for a little envelope of cash that she'd left me, and it made me chuckle and wonder how many small businesses out there who are offering services that they wouldn't usually do are kind of having these kind of strange but somewhat amusing transactions. After I'd done the drop off I contemplated coming straight home because it was really windy and quite rainy. I love the rain, as I mentioned yesterday, and I figured a good walk in the wind is a good way to blow out some cobwebs, isn't it? So I decided to take the longer path home and went for a walk down the front. I kind of had to make myself do it, you know, when you kind of think, oh, the easiest option is just to go home and be cosy, and you don't really want to do it, but then you kind of talk to yourself and you make yourself do it. And somehow I always find that those things that are in the back of your mind that you're not really sure whether you want to do, but you make yourself do it, the universe finds some way of rewarding you for taking that step and doing that thing that you weren't really sure about. So yeah, I went down to the front, and because it was so wet and blustery, it's one of my favourite kind of days where everything was pretty much a shade of grey. Our channel can get sort of like quite browny grey, it's quite silty out there under the sea, and so on days where the sea is churning it can be sort of like quite a browny sort of muddy grey. And then obviously lots of rain clouds in the sky and the changing sky all the time because of the wind blowing those clouds along on their journey. It's just really beautiful. Part of our beach there's sort of rocky build up, so I was able to stand safely above it and watch the waves crashing. I mean, they weren't huge by any stretch of imagination, but it was really nice to stand there and watch those waves break against the rock for a while. After I'd stood and watched the waves, I just wandered along the front and it was quite fun watching the battle in the sky going on, because the wind was kind of whipping these clouds along, and every now and then there'd be a tiny little chink of light emerge over the sea where a sunbeam had managed to win the battle and poke through. To rain and I decided I wasn't going to do my 2-minute beach clean, which I often do, pick up a little bit of litter off the beach, both because there wasn't much beach and also because I was getting wet. You think, oh well, I won't trouble myself to do that, I just want to go home now. But just as that thought popped into my head, I walked past a bit of beach that was accessible, and there was a huge sheet of polystyrene just there on the beach. Where these things come from, I don't know. But it was almost at the point where the tide was going to take it away, and I thought, I can't leave that to happen. So I stepped down onto the beach to pick up this polystyrene and gather a few other bits and pieces that I found along the way. And sometimes beach treasures take a bit of searching out, and other times they're just there and they appear. And out of nowhere, it seemed, this gorgeous little heart-shaped rock was just lying there on the beach. Was just lovely, a nice, I know it's a silly thing, and there are millions of stones and pebbles and rocks out there, but yeah, it felt like the universe rewarding me with a little bit of love for the extra effort that I'd made myself go to that day, which wasn't really an effort in the grand scheme of things. I was quite cold and a little bit wet and bedraggled, but also very refreshed by the time I got home, and that seemed like the perfect excuse for a nice warming bowl of soup. So I heated up some tomato soup and made a cheese sandwich. Have you ever dipped a cheese sandwich in tomato soup? Oh, it's just heavenly when you need a bit of comfort. So yeah. I bought the heart-shaped rock home with me. It's not a perfect heart shape, it's a bit rounded at the bottom, but there's lots of textural interest on that stone. I think I've mentioned before, I don't often pick pebbles and things up off the beach. I bring a lot of glass home, but nothing else really. But I couldn't resist this one, and I thought I might put it in the giveaway package. So on Friday, when I draw the winner for Sister Gnome, whoever gets that package will also now be receiving a little bit of love from my corner of the world to yours. So yeah, that was my morning. A bit of work, a bit of a wander, and yeah, just an all-round nice day. So stop waffling, you may be shouting at the screen. Stop waffling, Ange, and show us what you cast on. Prepare to be amazed. Look at this, pretty fancy, eh? So if you've been watching along, some of you may think, dark black yarn or dark grey yarn. I think I am going to call it black rather than grey. It's definitely got more of a black tinge to it than grey. This is the onion nettle yarn that I showed off in my video or my vlog on Monday. So yeah, I've cast on for the Otra pattern by Skein, and this is my crazy beginnings. It's quite an interesting pattern. You cast on and you do a bunch of short rows for the back, and then you come back and pick up stitches from your cast on row and join it in the round. I'm not giving away any secret sauce. Ellie of Skein has got a video tutorial on her channel showing what she does to pick up the stitches. So yeah, I'm not giving away any secrets. So yeah, it's a bit of a squished up mess, but it was quite an interesting construction. This sort of long part here, where I picked up my stitches, it looks like it's got a seam inside, but it's pretty seamless from the top. And this is going to be obviously my sort of shoulder part that makes the yoke. But I've got to the point now where I need to start doing my colour work, and it's given me a moment of pause. Not because I don't want to do the pattern, I absolutely do, but I'm about to start. So I've got to cast on some extra steek stitches on this side, but between these two markers here are my steek stitches for the armhole. Steeking involves cutting your yarn, and obviously once your yarn is cut, it then becomes very difficult to unravel it in any sensible way to reuse the yarn if you want to. And because this is such a strange construction and it looks like nothing else I've ever knit before, I'm going to just take this off the needles and kind of try it on. I know there's nothing much to try on, but I just want to stretch it out so that I can be confident that it's actually going to be big enough, because it looks a bit strange on here. So yeah, before I pass the point of no return, well, the point of no return is when I actually cut the yarn, isn't it? But before I carry on, I thought I would just take the time to thread this onto either a longer cable or some waste yarn and do that. I was also chatting with Anne, hi Anne, in our comments section yesterday evening, and she said she's steeked a lot of things, and I've never really steeked anything other than a couple of sort of practice samples. I've taken this off and made sure that I think the fit's going to be okay. I think I might cast on a little swatch and actually practice steeking with this yarn. This is the nettle sock yarn from Onion, which is 70% wool and 30% nettle fibres. And it's nice to work with, but it also doesn't have quite the same feel as a wool nylon blend. It's almost got like a more sort of cottony kind of feel to my hands, or at least like a wool cotton blend, those sorts of yarns. And I don't think it's going to be quite as grabby as a non-superwash wool would be, which is usually what is preferred for like steeking. So I thought it would probably be worth my while grabbing another ball of this and casting on a swatch and doing a little practice steek before I embark on the rest of this project. And this is all kind of leading me round to my question for you of the day, because obviously I've already cast on and I've spent a good few hours. I know it doesn't look like much, but this is a good few hours knitting. Sensible thing probably would have been to cast on my swatch and do my little steeky sample before I embarked on the main project. But I was just so intrigued by the construction, and I had the yarn and I planned to do the project, that I just dove right in. And that's oftentimes the case for me. So yeah, my question today is, if you are embarking on a pattern that maybe has a new stitch type or a new technique to you, do you sample and swatch before you embark on the project, or do you just dive right in like me and figure it out as you go along? And I guess there's a second part to that question. If you dive right in, or if you start off on a project, even if it doesn't have a new technique, maybe you come across some wording in the pattern that you don't quite understand, or a technique that maybe you've done once or twice before but you're not confident about, and it's given you a bit of a pause. You stick at it and plough on and work your way through that little part of the pattern, or are you inclined to put the project away for a little while until you feel like you've got the time and the energy to tackle that? Or does it just depend on what kind of mood you're in at the time it happens? So yeah, let me know below how you approach those things, because again, I'm always interested to know. So yeah, that's it. I think I am going to do what I need to do with this, and then I'm going to sit and make a swatch, I think. You're having a good day, whatever you are up to today, and I'm sure I shall report back at some point on how my steeking experiment has gone. I'm going to wind up my hand spun yarn and include a little bit of that in my steeking sample and go from there. Till we get to spend time together again, I hope that you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.